and welcome to the King's Court. Now, we got a very, very special New Year's Eve video for you. We got our friend of the channel, we'll just call him C. Is that cool? He got top 64 and an online regional. You want to give a quick explanation to the people how you did?
Yeah, so it was a top 512 person regional on December 10th for Play Tcg, and it was all online during Discord. And it was about 8 rounds, and I was able to go 6-2.
You want to say what were some of your best matches?
Some of the best matchups were against Metal Guru X, Grandis, Dorbickmon X, and there's a few others like Masta and Gallant.
Nice. Now, before we get to the meat and potato of the video, what made you want to play Dorbickmon?
Well, for starters, he's my favorite Digimon, and
nice.
I'm glad that he got a card that's slightly better than the BT5 version, and then you can make a deck out of it. So I was just brainstorming.
All right. Oh, sorry, force habit. All right, before we get to the full deck profile, in the comments, go ahead and remember, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think of Dorbickmon. Have you played Dorbickmon Turbo? Have you played against it? Do you play it? And what do you think of the deck? And we'll start off with the cards now.
Alright, so I made a few changes between that time and today, so you might see them here. But we're starting off with 4 copies of Digimon. Digimon is our draw engine, because most of the time you're going to be digivolving into Guillemon, and you want that draw 1 because most of the time you're going to have Dorbickmon in your hand, and you won't be really using your breeding area.
That's true.
So then, now that we have the level 2s out of the way,
who doesn't love Digimon?
On to the rookies. We have 4 copies of Promo Guillemon.
This card's expensive now.
Promo Guillemon is pretty self-explanatory. When attacking, draw 1. And if you have Digimon underneath, since he has Guillemon a name, that means you draw 2 for each attack, and you get to clear security.
I love that pot. Agreed. Yep.
And then for my deck list, I ran 2 at the 3 at the regional, but in this case, I'm switching it up and running 1 of the EX3 Guillemon to have more Guillemon targets for Digimon. And another thing is his on-deletion effect will delete a Digimon with 3k DP or less, so it can get rid of some of the play cost blockers that might stop you from digicrossing Dorbickmon and reducing its play cost. If it doesn't, you and your opponent will trash the top 2 cards of your deck, and that could be really helpful if you're not playing against purple, because it can trash a tamer or trash a key piece they need to start their combos.
Do you prefer it at 1, or do you think you bump it up?
I tried it at 3, and I was seeing it a bit too often, so I decided to test it at 1, and I have yet to get that.
No complaints?
Finished. Test it out yet. But other than that, we're running 3 copies of Guillemon X Antibody. For the same effect, you would, if you need it on your first turn, you can just Digivolve on top of your Guillemon and get the extra draw. If it's on the field, you can use his 1 Digivolving effect to delete a 3k DP or less. So you get another way to get rid of the play cost blockers. And then his Inheritable will add 1,000 to Dorbickmon's deletion effect, which means you can pop a total of 14k. Or sometimes if you have him already out in the Digimon and you go Crimson goes up to 7k instead of 6k.
Jesus, right? Gotta love that board delete.
And then we're running 2 copies of starter deck Agumon. I've seen some people run the level 4 Greymon that just gives you plus 2k DP on your turn, but I prefer Agumon because when attacking DP up is not once per turn. So the first Dorbick swing would swing for 14, and if you survive and reach stand, the second attack on the same turn will swing for 16, which will help you get over a lot of the level 7s, such as Death X and some of the Omnimons.
Get rid of Death X is always good.
Right, and then something I'm trying out is that 1 copy of Vorvomon and 1 copy of Gammamon. Both of these are here to just add different names for Dorbickmon, as well as because their inheritables are basically the same. Gammamon's inheritable if you are 6k or higher, delete a 3k or less. And Vorvomon is if you're attacking with an on-play Digimon, you can delete a Digimon with 3k DP or less. And that helps clear some of the lower level rookies that they have on the field, especially if the deck you're facing is basically a single stack, so you could get rid of the bigger stack with Dorbickmon and then use their inheritables to clear out any rookies they might need to swing per game.
Very nice. It also helps with like Madoki Betamons, stuff like that.
And then the last rookie I have here, I added him back in because I took him out for the 2 other EX3 Digimons, is the EX3 Sunariza. Sunariza, when attacking, you can look at the top 3 and add any with a Dragon, Ceratopsian, or Soaring trait. So that'll help you both clear security while looking for your pieces. It's pretty self-explanatory. Sadly, he can't be used for Dorbickmon.
You take the positives and negatives, right?
Yep. All right, and that's all the level 3s. For the level 4s, running 2 copies of the starter deck Growlmon. The Growlmon will help the Digimon if you evolve onto it to give it to keep the draw engine. And then his inheritable will let you gain a memory if a Digimon is deleted, which pairs well with Dorbickmon's deletion effect, as you will most likely always be deleting at least 1 stack or a lower level rookie.
Nice, very nice.
And then I bumped this up to 2, but I was running it at 1. 2 copies of Burning Greymon.
Nice.
And that way you can just have better chance of seeing the hybrid for game, in case you don't need to use your Tamer for Dorbickmon to get the extra DP gain. And then in an emergency, you could just put them on top of a red level 4 for an extra draw.
True.
It's the way you grumble for game.
And then 2 copies of Eismon Scatter Mode. I've seen more people run 4 copies of Sistermon Blank, but this is I prefer Scatter Mode for the main reason is that he wants to be deleted, so you're constantly going to be attacking with him. In addition, he is a Dark Dragon, which means he works as material for Dorbickmon.
He is?
Yes, he is right here, Dark
wow,
Dragon.
Wow, I did not know that actually.
I did not know that when he first came out, but he is really helpful because on deletion, if you get his deletion off, that's a draw 3, discard 2. If you have the promo Guillaumon out as well and you swing at that one, that's a potential draw 5, discard 2 on 1 turn, and that's 2 security clears.
Very nice.
And then some of the one-ups. 1 copy of starter deck Greymon, mainly because I don't have a second copy, but if I did have a second copy, I'd add 2 of them.
I think I got a spare. We can work some out.
For the security attack +1 inheritable.
Nice.
1 copy of Fleurizamon, because his inheritable will let you draw 1 if he's under Dragon Source or Ceratopsian, so you can put him under Dorbickmon for an extra draw. And then 1 copy of EX3 Jazzardmon, just to get the extra 1000 DP you sometimes need to get up to 15k.
Anything to boost him up?
Yes, and then in his case, it's also all turns, which means after you've attacked with him, at least on your opponent's turn, Dorbickmon will be 13k instead of 12k, so it'll be a bit harder to swing over.
How often does that come in?
It came up a few times.
That's all the champs?
Yep, that's all the champions.
Any changes you'd make, or are you comfortable with this?
Right now, I want to test this out first, but I think I'm comfortable with this. But yeah, I would like to have the second starter deck Greymon.
Like I said, I got a spare. We can work some out.
Yep. On to level 5s, we have 2 copies of Master Tyrannomon. Master Tyrannomon is mostly there for the security attack inheritable, but sometimes I did find myself having to hard play him, which means his your turn effect is pretty good because he gives himself security attack +1, so you can be checking for 2 checks.
Nice.
Then 2 copies of Lava Garitamon. Lava Garitamon you don't really want to hard play, but sometimes you can and get the 5000 DP deletion out.
It happens.
And then all turns, his inheritable is a bit better than Growlmon because his deletion gain memory effect is all turns. So if you can delete a Digimon on their turn, either by security bomb, you gain a memory off his inheritable.
Very nice, right?
Yep. And the other 2 copies of Jazzarichmon. Jazzarichmon's on play is the Digivolve 1, which is one of the best removals in the game, as a lot of decks currently don't have a response to it.
Very true.
You're mainly using him for his inheritable, which is another security attack +1. So Dorbickmon can check for more checks.
He's literally, give me your power.
Yep. And then you have 2 copies of Majiramon. Majiramon's effect inheritable allows you to restand if the opponent controls no Digimon with no sources. This also happens if they don't have a field, so you can clear the field first and then have his effect go off, allowing you to restand and attack again.
Very nice.
And that's all for level 5s. Now for level 6s, we are running the boss monster himself, 4 copies of Dorbickmon.
The big guy.
Yep. So Dorbickmon's effect was a bit translated not correctly, so we don't have the errata version of him yet, but
Do you think we'll ever get an errata?
I would hope so, but his Digicross requirement is 5 Digimon with different names that would contain Dragon, Sor, or Ceratopsian in this trait. He gains Rush on play, which means he can attack the turn he has played. On play, delete a one Digimon with 3K TP or less, and for each source, add 2,000 underneath. So you can be popping with a full stack. You can pop up to a 13K, 14K if you have Guillemon X underneath, and that's really good for cleaning out a lot of the.
That takes care of like a lot of Digimon.
Yeah, most level 6s that don't have protection, that don't keep their DP boosts after their turn ends, will probably be deleted by him. And I run 2 and 2 just because I like having both arts in my
Gotta
deck.
get those little arts.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks really sweet though in that full art.
Yep. And then I get 1 copy of Metallic Dramon. Metallic Dramon works as sort of an emergency. For 12 cost, he will de-digivolve 1 everything on the field. And afterwards, he'll delete a 5 cost or less. But if he doesn't, for the remainder of your opponent's turn, they cannot digivolve unsuspended for the remainder of the turn. And then if you have a Tamer out, he gains Blocker Reboot, so he's an emergency blocker. And that the second effect to not digivolve unsuspended really works when you're going against single stack OTKs. I used it twice against Grandis and Melga, and they were unable to move out because if they did, they would have to be forced to attack, and they didn't have the X antibody, so they couldn't just evolve on attack. And then they'd have to deal with Metallic Dramon, who would block them first. So he's really good at slowing opponents down for a turn, as well as being used as material for Dorbick.
Nice.
Then I run only 1 level 7, which is the BT10 Omni X Antibody.
Another card I got mistranslated.
Yes, 7 cost is quite steep, but he does have one of the better removals in the game. When digivolving, you can return all your opponent's Digimon with the highest level to the opponent's deck. And then as well, when it digivolving, you can return a level 6 under him to trash, look at your opponent's security and trash 1. This is what I use to get over Examon because Examon's evade is pretty powerful and this deck struggles with it.
Very true.
However, bottom decking does not count as deletion, so Omnimon X gets over him, which means you could theoretically get your Dorbickmon stack out, delete either the Slayer Dramon or Break Dramon that's by itself with no protection, and then just evo to this and get rid of any Examon that's on the field.
Sounds good to me.
And that's all the Digimon. Now onto the Tamers. We run 1 copy of Tai just to get that extra security check, and he's also a memory setter.
Self-explanatory.
Pretty self-explanatory. We run 2 copies of Hero. Hero is also a memory setter, and he's good to get the extra 2k DP boost you need for the chances that you might not see the Agumon or the Jazzardbon.
Do you like that ratio, or would you ever change it up?
I had 2 Tai and 2 Hero, but I could change in between depending on which Digimon I use for the sources. If I had more DP sources, I might stick to more Tais. But in this case, I like this even straight up 2 and 1.
Nice.
And then that's it for the Tamers. In terms of options, we run 4 copies of Fireball. This is the draw power of the engine.
The upstart.
The upstart. Other people use Hero of the Skies as well, but I stick specifically to Fireball. Main effect, you attempt to delete a 3k DP or less, which can also help with play cost blockers. Otherwise, you draw 2, and that's really good on during the first turn.
Because you want to see your pieces.
Because you want to see your pieces as fast as possible. And I also had it pretty good against the main. I actually had it stop a Massamon player from getting game 2 because it deleted the Gazimon they were going to attack the game with.
Ha, Massamon.
And we have 2 copies of Red Memory Boost. You can boost it up to 3, but I use 2 just for that added consistency. And then the delay is pretty good because if you gain the 2 memory and you don't finish off with Dorbickmon, if you didn't use either of the Tamers, you can just hybrid for game.
Very true.
And then we have 1 copy of a Delicate Plan, just to shut off options.
It's a red deck.
It's a red deck. You need it, especially against Security Control or Mastamon, because 1 option card can ruin your whole play.
Yup.
And then I added it to 2, but I originally had it at 1. 2 copies of Crimson Blaze, just to get rid of the whiteboard removal. And as well as
Lordmon, the way it is.
Yep, it also stops things like Imperial Dramon or Examon being able to summon stuff from their hand or from their sources.
Very nice.
And then I use this as a tech as 1 copy of High Speed Plugin D. The security effect is to draw 1 and then add to hand, so there's no downside to having it in your security. But if you have a Tamer, you can use it without using its color requirement, and it gives a Digimon jamming and unblockable, which really helps Dorbickmon get past any blockers it can't delete with its effect, such as Chaos Dramon or even an Xmon stack. And then just the one copy of Gaia Force. This was originally another Sunariza in my regional build, but I swapped it out last second for Gaia Force, and it really came in clutch against both Melga and Grandis because it was one of the first things they security checked in their first stack, which gave me more time to find my pieces.
Gotta love Gaia. All right. Very nice deck. Very powerful. I know we've all gotten hit by it very badly. So is there any changes to the deck, or are you happy with the way it runs right now?
I'm happy with the way it runs right now. I am looking forward to any of the new support that might come out.
Like that new Tyrannomon?
New Tyrannomon, or just any generic support that might fit. I've already seen some that's just more draw engines, or even some in BT12 and EX4 that I might test out, but for now, this is what I got for now.
All right, before we sign off, do you have anything to say about the deck that new players should be aware of?
Don't feel pressured to go into Dorbickmon right away after you have all the pieces. It's really timing is really important. You want to make sure you can read the board and make sure they either don't have anything in raising, or you can make sure to clear out enough of their stack so that you can have the extra turn to finish for gaming if you don't after using Dorbickmon. But other than that, feel free to mess around with the ratios and see what works for you.
All right, you heard him here, people. That's top 64 coming straight from the mouth. Now, thanks for watching, and if you got any more, go ahead and leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see more of C's content, he also has been in multiple gameplays we've had with both channel member Michael and myself. So if you want to see more of his decks, go ahead and check those out. Other than that, thanks for stopping by. Bye.